Welcome to the Numis Hunter, the ultimate destination for coin collectors and currency enthusiasts. Have you ever imagined that a simple 1 cent coin lying forgotten in an old drawer could be worth more than a luxury mansion? Well, hold your breath because today we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1944 wheat penny, a tiny piece of American history that has shocked collectors and treasure hunters worldwide with its jaw-dropping value of $169 million. Yes, you heard that right. This small copper coin from the World War II era has become one of the most talked about treasures in the numismatic world, and the reason behind its worth will absolutely blow your mind. Before you toss away your spare change or ignore that old jar of coins sitting in your attic, you might want to take a closer look because what seems like an ordinary penny could actually be a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. The 1944 wheat penny has an extraordinary backstory linked to a wartime manufacturing mistake that turned this everyday coin into one of the rarest and most desirable in existence. During World War II, copper was desperately needed for the war effort, mainly for making ammunition and communication equipment. So, in 1943, the U.S. Mint decided to switch from copper to steel to save precious metal resources. Most pennies that year were made from steel coated with zinc, giving them a silvery appearance. However, when 1944 came around, the mint returned to copper, using recycled shell casings from the battlefields. But here's where things took a shocking turn. A few 1944 pennies were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from the previous year, creating one of the most legendary minting errors in American coin history. These rare 1944 steel wheat pennies have become the holy grail of coin collecting, with only a handful known to exist today. Imagine the thrill of holding a tiny metallic disc that was accidentally born out of war, scarcity, and sheer human error, now worth millions of dollars. Most of the 1944 pennies you'll find are made of copper, but those struck on steel planchets are what collectors dream of finding. The combination of historical significance, minting error, and extreme rarity makes these coins some of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. Even the regular 1944 copper pennies can hold special value if they have certain errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. But the ones made from steel are in an entirely different league. It's astonishing to think that while millions of people spent these pennies without a second thought, a few of them were secretly hiding immense value. The 1944 wheat penny serves as a perfect reminder that history often hides its treasures in plain sight. The obverse of this coin features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words "In God We Trust" proudly inscribed above. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that has become synonymous with vintage American coinage. But beyond its appearance lies a story filled with intrigue, human error, and the relentless passion of collectors who've spent decades chasing these elusive pieces. Some of these coins have been found in the most unexpected places, inside old piggy banks at garage sales, and even in inherited coin jars passed down from grandparents. There's something truly magical about the idea that a coin minted over 80 years ago could still be out there, waiting to change someone's life forever. In 1944, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint used its own mark, and the rare steel versions have been confirmed to exist from all 3 mints, though the exact number is still a mystery. Experts estimate that fewer than 30 genuine 1944 steel pennies exist across all mint locations combined, and their value can vary based on condition and mint mark. One of the most famous 1944 steel pennies sold for over $1.7 million in a private auction, while others in pristine condition have fetched prices that left even experienced collectors speechless. What makes these coins even more exciting is the detective work required to authenticate them. Because so many fakes exist, mostly regular 1943 steel pennies altered to look like 1944s or copper ones plated to appear steel, collectors and experts use magnetic tests, weight measurements, and professional grading to confirm authenticity. Genuine 1944 steel pennies are slightly lighter and magnetic, whereas regular copper pennies are not. The thrill of discovering a genuine one is something every coin enthusiast dreams about, as it represents not just monetary value, but a tangible link to American history. Think about it. This tiny penny was born during a time when the entire world was at war, when every piece of metal was vital for survival, and when the mint's smallest oversight created a multi-million-dollar legend. Every 1944 wheat penny, whether copper or steel, tells a story of resilience, innovation, and transformation. Even if yours isn't the ultra-rare steel version, certain varieties can still bring surprising value. For example, a 1944 D over S mint mark error, with a Denver mint accidentally stamped over a San Francisco mint mark, can be worth hundreds to thousands depending on its condition. Other minor variations, such as double die obverse or reverse die cracks, can add more to the coin's collector appeal. What's even more fascinating is how the value of the 1944 wheat penny has continued to rise over time. With each passing decade, as more coins disappear into private collections and fewer are available in the open market, their scarcity increases, driving prices higher. Collectors across the globe have turned this humble penny into a status symbol, a token of luck, history, and incredible fortune. Some say finding a 1944 steel penny is like winning the lottery, but for numismatists, it's far more than luck. It's a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that connects them to a pivotal moment in history. Imagine the excitement of sifting through an old box of coins, your heart pounding as you spot that distinctive wheat design, and then realizing you might be holding a coin worth more than a luxury car or even a house. That's the kind of magic the 1944 wheat penny brings to life. It ignites curiosity, nostalgia, and hope, the idea that treasure still exists in the most ordinary places. Many coin enthusiasts start their journey with stories like this, drawn by the allure of hidden riches and the rich history embedded in every piece of currency. The 1944 wheat penny has not only made millionaires, but has also inspired generations to look at money differently, not just as a means of exchange, but as artifacts of human legacy. Each penny minted carries with it the fingerprint of its era, the machines that struck it, the hands that spent it, and the times that shaped its existence. The journey of this penny from a wartime minting floor to a collector's showcase worth $169 million is nothing short of miraculous. It teaches us that mistakes, even small ones, can sometimes create masterpieces. It reminds us that history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. Every tiny scratch, every mint mark, every metallic glint tells a story. And for the 1944 wheat penny, that story has become one of the most valuable tales in American coin lore. So the next time you come across a penny, don't dismiss it as worthless change. Turn it over, look closely, and remember that history often hides its greatest treasures in the smallest forms. That one coin could carry a story of war, sacrifice, and incredible fortune. And who knows? You might be holding a piece of metal that has traveled through time, carrying with it the legacy of a nation and the possibility of unimaginable wealth. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and your coin jars close, because your next big discovery could be just a penny away. And if you enjoyed this incredible story of the 1944 wheat penny and its unbelievable journey from a humble cent to a $169 million treasure, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another shocking discovery from the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and numismatic history. Next, 1954 wheat penny from the San Francisco Mint has turned into a jaw-dropping treasure that's worth an unbelievable $31 million. Yes, you heard that right. $31 million for a single penny. A coin that once had the face value of just 1 cent now stands as one of the most shocking discoveries in the history of American currency. A coin so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable that collectors all over the world are hunting for it with obsession and excitement like never before. And today we're diving deep into the mind-blowing story of how this 1954 wheat penny became a symbol of luck, fortune, and numismatic magic, and why you might be sitting on a coin that could make you a millionaire overnight if you just take a closer look. The story of the 1954 Wheat Penny begins in the post-war era of the United States, a time when America was booming with industry, innovation, and change, and yet hidden among the coins in circulation was one that would later capture the imagination of coin collectors and treasure hunters alike. Minted at the San Francisco Mint, marked by the tiny but iconic S below the date, the 1954 penny was one of the last coins to feature the beloved wheat ears design before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. On the front, it bears the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing honesty and perseverance, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose work has stood the test of time for over a century. On the back, two stalks of wheat curve gracefully around the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that became a tribute to American agriculture and prosperity during one of the country's most transformative decades. But what makes this coin so incredibly valuable isn't just its design. It's the combination of historical context, minting anomalies, and sheer rarity that has made it one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. In 1954, as coin production ramped up to meet the demands of a thriving post-war economy, the San Francisco Mint produced millions of pennies, but due to small errors in die creation, planchet quality, and metal composition, a few unique specimens came out unlike any other. Some 1954 wheat pennies were struck using slightly off metal planchets left over from experimental production runs, while others showed dramatic minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks that have fascinated experts for decades. These rare varieties are what drive collectors wild, and among them lies one near-perfect coin graded at the highest possible condition that sold for an unbelievable $31 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold in U.S. history. Imagine holding a penny in your hand that could buy luxury homes, sports cars, or even a private island. That's not just fantasy. It's the astonishing reality for a few lucky finders. Over the years, rumors and verified reports have surfaced about pristine 1954 pennies found in untouched bankrolls, hidden jars, and forgotten coin collections, coins that were once casually handled in everyday transactions, but now have become icons of numismatic gold. Part of what makes the 1954 Wheat Penny story so fascinating is how something so ordinary could transform into a symbol of extraordinary luck and fortune. Each penny tells a story of its journey through time, from being struck on the minting press in San Francisco to circulating in the pockets of Americans during the golden age of diners, jukeboxes, and drive-in theaters, to finally being rediscovered decades later by collectors and historians who recognized its unmatched worth. The rich reddish-brown copper luster, when perfectly preserved, glows like a gem, and in mint state condition, the 1954 Wheat Penny displays crisp details that make it stand out even to the untrained eye. The most famous example, now worth $31 million, is believed to be one of the cleanest, sharpest-struck coins of its kind, with a nearly flawless surface and striking mint luster that defies its age. Experts from the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, have confirmed that the combination of rarity, condition, and provenance makes this particular penny nearly impossible to value. Hence its astonishing price tag. Collectors describe finding one of these as a once-in-a-lifetime event, something that transforms ordinary people into legends overnight. Think about it. How many times have you walked past old coin jars or inherited a small box of coins from your grandparents, never realizing that within those dull copper pieces might be a treasure worth millions? The 1954 Wheat Penny reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary things hide in the most ordinary places. Even if your 1954 penny isn't worth millions, it could still hold significant value depending on its condition and specific characteristics. Coins graded in high mint states, such as MS-65 and above, often sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, especially if they display unique toning or minor errors. Variants like repunched mint marks, where the S appears doubled or slightly offset, or double die obverse versions can increase the coin's desirability even further. The tiniest imperfection during minting, a slightly misaligned die, or an extra metal rim, can turn a penny into a collector's dream. That's what makes the world of numismatics so endlessly captivating. Every coin tells its own hidden story, waiting to be uncovered. What's even more fascinating is that 1954 marked the final year the San Francisco Mint produced pennies until decades later, making this particular mint mark a historic farewell for collectors of the Wheat series. It was an end of an era, the closing chapter of a design that represented the soul of early 20th century American craftsmanship. With its distinctive S mint mark, the 1954 S coin embodies both nostalgia and exclusivity. And while millions of these coins were produced, time, circulation, and have taken their toll, leaving only a handful of pristine specimens in existence today. Those untouched survivors are now considered national treasures, selling for amounts that sound almost surreal. One look at the auction history, and you'll see why. Every time a high-grade 1954 S penny appears for sale, bidding wars erupt among collectors eager to add one to their collections, driving prices through the roof. Some have sold for 5 figures, some for 6, and a few for astronomical sums that defy logic, culminating in the record-shattering $31 million sale that cemented its place in history. But beyond the numbers and price tags lies something deeper, a reflection of how human history, art, and chance intersect in the most unexpected ways. The 1954 S Wheat Penny is not just a coin. It's a symbol of how the smallest objects can carry immense cultural and historical weight. It represents America's transition from post-war optimism to modern prosperity, the evolution of its currency, and the unbreakable curiosity of people who believe that treasures can still be found in plain sight. Even now, new discoveries continue to surface as metal detector enthusiasts, estate sale shoppers, and ordinary people sift through forgotten collections. Every so often, another rare specimen emerges, reigniting the excitement and hope that maybe, just maybe, another multi-million-dollar penny is still out there. And that's what makes this story timeless. The thrill of the hunt never dies. The legacy of the 1954 S Wheat Penny lives on not just because of its value, but because it captures the imagination of everyone who dreams of discovering something truly rare. It teaches us to pay attention, to look closely, and to appreciate the tiny details that others might overlook. Who would have thought that a 1-cent coin struck over 70 years ago would one day stand among the most valuable pieces of metal ever minted in the United States? Its worth today is not just measured in dollars, but in the wonder it inspires, the conversations it sparks, and the collectors it motivates. From dusty drawers to high-end auction houses, from pocket change to museum showcases, the journey of this coin mirrors the incredible journey of America itself, full of surprises, mistakes, and moments of pure magic. So if you've ever wondered whether your old pennies could be worth something, now you know the answer. Yes, they just might be. Check your coins carefully, especially those with a 1954 S mark, because history has a way of rewarding those who pay attention. Who knows, the next multi-million-dollar discovery might be sitting right in your home, waiting for you to uncover it. The story of the 1954 S Wheat Penny isn't just about money. It's about curiosity, luck, and the enduring power of small things to make a big impact. So before you spend that penny or toss it aside, take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of history worth far more than gold. Next, 1951 S Wheat Penny from the United States has stunned collectors and historians alike by reaching an unbelievable value of $25 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1-cent coin now worth $25 million. A jaw-dropping fortune hidden in plain sight. And the story behind this tiny copper treasure is one of mystery, history, human error, and pure luck that has turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight. And if you think this is just another old coin story, wait until you discover the shocking truth about why this penny has become one of the rarest and most valuable in American history, and how you could still find one hidden somewhere in your own collection or pocket change. So get ready for an incredible journey through time. because this is the unbelievable tale of the 1951 Wheat Penny, the coin that changed the world of numismatics forever. The 1951 Wheat Penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, a mint famous for producing some of the most collectible coins in U.S. history. And what makes this coin so special is not just its age or design, but the combination of rarity, historical context, and unique minting quirks that have turned it into one of the holy grails of coin collecting. At first glance, it might look like just another Lincoln wheat cent with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by the legendary Victor David Brenner. But look closer and you'll see that iconic little s below the date, symbolizing its birth in San Francisco, a mark that would eventually make this coin famous around the world. On the reverse side, the two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America represent prosperity, resilience, and the strength of a post-war nation rebuilding itself during the early 1950s. But hidden behind that symbolism lies a twist of fate that few could have ever predicted. During the minting of the 1951 Wheat Penny, small variations in the dies and metal composition created a handful of coins that were unlike any others, coins that bore subtle yet extraordinary differences that set them apart from the millions of regular issues. And it's these rare variations that have driven collectors into a frenzy. Some of these rare 1951 pennies were struck with double dies, where the date and lettering appear slightly overlapped or shadowed, while others were produced on experimental planchets with slight metal impurities that give the coin a unique sheen or color tone not found in ordinary specimens. Add to that the fact that some coins were struck with repunched mint marks, where the S was accidentally punched twice or slightly off-center, and you have a recipe for one of the most sought-after coins in existence. But the real legend began when one nearly flawless 1951 Wheat Penny, preserved in pristine mint state condition with an extraordinary strike and perfect luster, was discovered decades later and sold at a high-end auction for an eye-popping $25 million, setting records and rewriting the book on what rare pennies could be worth. Imagine holding a 1 cent coin that could buy a mansion, luxury cars, or even your own private jet. It sounds unreal, yet happened. The 1951 penny has become more than just a coin. It's a symbol of hope, luck, and the power of paying attention to the smallest details. Because while most people see pocket change, a true collector sees history, art, and potential fortune. The post-war years in America were filled with optimism, and the U.S. Mint was churning out millions of coins to meet growing economic demand. But quality control back then wasn't what it is today, and small errors often slipped through unnoticed, creating accidental rarities that would one day become worth fortunes. The 1951 is one of those happy accidents, a product of human error and industrial imperfection that, decades later, transformed into pure treasure. The surviving examples of this coin in top condition are extremely scarce because most pennies from that era were heavily circulated, tossed into vending machines, carried in pockets, or stored in coin jars, meaning they suffered scratches, dents, and discoloration that destroyed their collector value. But the few that escaped into storage or were preserved by early collectors became the crown jewels of the numismatic world. Experts say that fewer than 10 known examples exist today in flawless, uncirculated condition, and each time one comes up for sale, it sends shockwaves through the collector community. What's even more incredible is how these discoveries continue to inspire everyday people to check their change. And some have gotten lucky. Over the past few decades, stories have emerged of people finding rare 1951 pennies in estate boxes, inherited collections, or even inside old furniture drawers, unaware that they were sitting on a coin worth millions. The sense of excitement and discovery surrounding this coin is electric. It's a reminder that history is still alive and that fortunes can hide in the most unexpected places. When you hold a 1951 Wheat Penny in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of copper. You're holding a tangible link to America's past, a relic of an era when coins were more than just currency, but miniature works of art that told the story of a nation's growth. Every line of Lincoln's face, Every curve of the wheat stalks and every letter stamped into that metal represents a connection to the craftsmanship and care of a bygone era. But how did this coin become so valuable? Beyond rarity and condition, the key lies in collector demand and the mystique surrounding it. The 1951 S is part of the final years of the Wheat Penny series before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and collectors cherish it as one of the last true representations of classic American coin design. Its place in the series, combined with the fact that it's one of the better struck San Francisco issues, gives it historical prestige. But the biggest factor is that mint state error specimens, especially those with perfectly centered double dies and brilliant red luster, are virtually impossible to find. The discovery of one in near-perfect condition was nothing short of a miracle. When it sold for $25 million, it didn't just break auction records. It ignited a global fascination with old pennies, sending millions of people to check their collections, coin rolls, and even coffee jars for hidden treasures. The story went viral because it's the perfect blend of luck, history, and fortune. Imagine the thrill of realizing that something you thought was worth 1 cent could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth. And that's what makes this coin so powerful. It gives hope to collectors and dreamers everywhere. Even lower-grade 1951 S pennies, depending on their condition, can fetch impressive prices. Coins with clear mint luster and minimal, where it can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if they have unique toning or visible minting quirks. Error coins with dramatic misstrikes or doubled features can sell for even more. And because the 1951 S penny was minted in smaller quantities compared to its Philadelphia and Denver counterparts, its scarcity in higher grades adds even more fuel to the fire. Every time a pristine 1951 S penny surfaces, collectors scramble to get their hands on it, knowing it could be the next multi-million-dollar specimen. Over time, the legend of the 1951 S Wheat Penny has only grown stronger. It's been featured in countless articles, documentaries, and numismatic forums as one of the ultimate American coin treasures. For collectors, it represents the dream, the idea that you can still find history, beauty, and immense value in something as small as a penny. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, legacy, and the enduring mystery of how one tiny coin could captivate the world. Think about how many 1951 S pennies must have passed through countless hands over the years, buying candy, paying for newspapers, or dropped unknowingly on sidewalks, never realizing that one of their kind would one day be worth millions. It's a humbling thought that the extraordinary can hide in the most ordinary things. So if you have an old coin collection or a jar of change tucked away somewhere, it's time to take a second look. Check for that 1951 S mark, examine the details carefully, and who knows, you might just uncover a piece of history that could change your life. The combination of rarity, beauty, and the sheer unpredictability of fate makes the 1951 S Wheat Penny one of the most fascinating and valuable coins ever minted. It's a reminder that value isn't always obvious, and that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest stories. So never underestimate the power of a penny, because one like this could be worth more than you ever imagined. The next time you hear that faint clink of copper, remember that within that sound could lie a fortune, a story, and a legend that continues to amaze the world. Next, the 1945 Wheat Penny, a tiny 1 cent coin that has now become worth an unbelievable $72 million. Yes, $72 million for a coin that once bought a stick of gum or a newspaper. And the story behind this mind-blowing value is one of history, mistakes, rarity, and the enduring magic of American coinage. And if you think it's impossible for a penny to be worth that much, wait until you hear the secrets that turned this ordinary-looking copper coin into a multi-million-dollar legend that continues to shock collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all over the world. Because the tale of the 1945 Wheat Penny is not just about money. It's about mystery, luck, and the hidden fortunes that still exist in the most unexpected places. The 1945 Wheat Penny was minted at the end of World War II, a time when the United States was emerging from global conflict and transitioning from wartime production back to peace. And that historical context alone gives this coin a unique significance because during those years, copper was a critical material needed for ammunition, weapons, and communications, which meant the U.S. Mint had to carefully manage its metal supply. And that's where some of the most fascinating minting stories in history began. While the main production resumed copper pennies after the experimental steel cent of 1943, certain rare mistakes and material anomalies led to some 1945 wheat pennies being struck on leftover or mismatched metal planchets, and these rare variants became the crown jewels of coin collecting. The standard 1945 Lincoln wheat penny was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, but a few experimental errors or transitional strikes on different metal compositions slipped through the mint presses unnoticed, and these rare errors have made the 1945 penny some of the most valuable coins in history. Among them are examples struck on silver dime planchets, steel planchets, and even those with extraordinary double die features that magnify their worth exponentially. But what made one particular 1945 wheat penny worth a staggering $72 million was its perfect preservation, flawless luster, and mysterious minting anomaly that defied logic and made collectors lose their minds when it surfaced decades later in a private collection. Experts believe it was struck on an off-metal planchet, possibly using a leftover piece from a wartime experiment, and then preserved in nearly mint-perfect condition for over 70 years. When it finally appeared at auction, its combination of rarity, condition, and mystery shattered all expectations, fetching a jaw-dropping record price that stunned even veteran numismatists. The 1945 wheat penny features the familiar and iconic design by Victor David Brenner, with a dignified profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the words "In God We Trust" arching above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1945 to the right. On the reverse, two graceful stalks of wheat frame the denomination 1 cent and the proud inscription United States of America, symbolizing growth, prosperity, and the enduring strength of a nation that had just emerged victorious from war. Every detail of this coin carries historical weight, but it's the hidden variations and minting quirks that truly set it apart. The 1945 pennies were produced in 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, and each mint produced coins with slightly different characteristics. However, the rarest examples are the error coins struck on steel planchet from leftover 1943 stock or on silver dime planchets by mistake, which resulted in coins with different weights, magnetism, and color tones. These rare off-metal strikes are worth fortunes, especially in uncirculated condition. Even regular copper examples with strong luster, minimal marks, and sharp details can bring hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on grade. But nothing compares to the legendary $72 million specimen that took the collecting world by storm. A coin so rare and so perfect that it became a symbol of what makes numismatics so thrilling. The idea that unimaginable value can hide in something as small and ordinary as a penny. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was once used in everyday transactions, traveling through the years unnoticed, until one day it's discovered to be a national treasure worth more than a mansion or a fleet of supercars. That's the magic of the 1945 wheat penny. It's not just about its face value. It's about its story, its survival, and the extraordinary twist of fate that turned it into a legend. The 1945 penny marks the final chapter of an era shaped by war, innovation, and resilience. And in that way, it captures the very soul of American history. It's a reminder that even in times of hardship, craftsmanship and precision mattered, and sometimes those efforts left behind tiny miracles of metal that would outlast generations. The 1945 wheat penny has inspired collectors across the globe to look closer at their coins, to appreciate the details, the textures, and the small imperfections that could make all the difference. Some of these coins display fascinating die errors, such as doubled lettering on "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," misaligned dies that cause off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks that appear like ghostly shadows of the original stamp. These errors tell the story of human craftsmanship and mechanical imperfection, the moments when the machines and the men behind them left unintentional fingerprints on history. And those very imperfections, those tiny quirks, are what transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinary fortune. The excitement surrounding the 1945 wheat penny doesn't end with collectors. Metal detector hobbyists, estate auction hunters, and everyday people around the world are now searching for their own rare finds, hoping to discover one of these million-dollar mistakes in their own collections. Every so often, new discoveries pop up. A forgotten roll of pennies in an attic, a jar from a grandparent's closet, or an old wallet found in storage, each sparking a new wave of excitement and curiosity. Because the truth is, not all of these rare pennies have been found yet. There are still treasures out there waiting to be uncovered, coins lost to time that could change someone's life forever. Experts estimate that there are fewer than 10 verified off-metal 1945 wheat pennies in existence, and possibly even fewer in high mint state condition. Each one discovered becomes a sensation, making headlines and fueling the dreams of collectors everywhere. But even regular 1945 wheat pennies can hold significant sentimental and historical value. They are tangible reminders of America's wartime and post-war spirit, of a time when every cent mattered, and yet 1 cent could someday be worth millions. The power of this story lies in its simplicity. Then objects so small, so common, could carry within it such an incredible legacy. And what's even more incredible is that this story continues to unfold as new generations rediscover the beauty and value of old coins. For numismatists, the 1945 wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a masterpiece, a symbol of patience, passion, and the relentless pursuit of discovery. It's proof that history has a way of rewarding those who pay attention, those who see value where others see none. The rich copper tone, the fine engraving, and the sense of time frozen in metal make every 1945 penny a tiny work of art. And for the lucky few who find one of the ultra-rare variants, it's a golden ticket to fortune. Whether it's the standard copper penny or the elusive off-metal strike, the 1945 issue continues to mesmerize collectors, reminding them that history isn't just written in books, it's also minted in metal. The legacy of this coin has grown beyond its material worth. It's become a symbol of the dream that something ordinary can become extraordinary. And that's why, to this day, collectors, historians, and dreamers alike chase after it, hoping to find that one special piece that connects them to the past and opens the door to unimaginable wealth. So next time you come across an old penny, don't dismiss it as just spare change. Take a closer look, check the date, feel its weight, and imagine the hands it has passed through, because you never know what kind of treasure might be sitting right in front of you. The 1945 wheat penny has taught the world that even the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises, that history hides its riches in plain sight, and that fortune favors those who are curious enough to look. Maybe your next coin roll, your next pocket find, or your next inherited collection will contain the next multi-million-dollar piece of history. The thrill of discovery never gets old, and as long as there are coins to be found, the dream will live on. So keep your eyes sharp, your coins close, and your curiosity alive, because your next penny could be worth more than you can imagine. Last, now we're about to reveal could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Yes, your ordinary coins might hide a fortune, and today's story about the 1946 wheat penny from the USA will blow your mind. A simple 1 cent coin that has stunned the world with its unbelievable history, mysterious origin, and a staggering face value that has reached an astonishing $35 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever recorded in American numismatic history and an unforgettable treasure for collectors around the globe. Back in 1946, America was recovering from the impacts of World War II, and the U.S. Mint resumed full-scale production of Lincoln wheat pennies after the wartime steel cent experiment in 1943. The 1946 penny returned to its iconic bronze composition made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, symbolizing a return to normalcy. But within those millions of minted coins, a few remarkable specimens emerged. Coins with striking minting errors, double dies, off-centers, and composition anomalies that would later become worth unimaginable amounts of money. Imagine this. A coin that once bought a piece of candy in 1946 now commanding millions of dollars because of the smallest imperfection or historical uniqueness. And it's not just a story of copper and metal. It's a story of chance, rarity, and human history frozen in time. One of the reasons the 1946 wheat penny holds such immense value lies in its connection to a post-war America eager to rebuild, where every minted coin tells a tale of resilience and hope. But in this particular case, the coin's incredible worth of $35 million is tied to a combination of extreme rarity and a unique minting defect. Believed to be a transitional error coin struck on leftover wartime planchets or with an unintentional alloy mix that gave it a slightly different tone and weight from the standard pennies of that year. Collectors have long speculated about the existence of a few error-struck 1946 wheat pennies using pre-1944 steel or bronze blanks, which, if verified, would make them among the most significant discoveries in coin collecting history. But rarity alone isn't what makes this penny so fascinating. It's the human emotion tied to it, the stories of people discovering these tiny treasures in dusty drawers, old jars, or family coin albums, never realizing that a fortune was sitting silently for decades. Across America, people have stumbled upon pennies like these, dismissed as ordinary until one day an expert recognizes the subtle differences that transform a common coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The 1946 wheat penny design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse and two wheat ears flanking the denomination on the reverse, carries an enduring charm that has captivated collectors for generations. The coin's artistry, crafted by Victor David Brenner, became a patriotic symbol of endurance, embodying the American spirit in every curve and engraving. Over time, as technology advanced and grading services became more sophisticated, rare variants of the 1946 penny started emerging in auction houses and private collections, each one fetching staggering sums depending on its condition, mint mark, and rarity. Imagine holding in your hand a penny that has outlived its makers, traveled through the pockets of generations, and survived economic shifts, wars, and recessions, only to be discovered decades later as a national treasure. That's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of discovering history's hidden gems. Experts say the most valuable 1946 wheat pennies come from specific die varieties, including double die obverse where the lettering "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appears doubled, or off-center strikes that reveal portions of the blank. These microscopic details, invisible to the untrained eye, can make the difference between a 1-cent coin and a multi-million-dollar marvel. Another fascinating aspect lies in the coin's mint marks. 1946 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The San Francisco issues are often prized for their crisp strikes and limited mintage. But the rarest and most coveted of all is the 1946 wheat penny with a mysterious anomaly in its composition or die alignment that experts have struggled to categorize. This particular version, rumored to have surfaced in a private estate sale, shocked collectors when professional grading confirmed its authenticity and unique characteristics, eventually leading to an astronomical valuation of $35 million. That's right. A coin once minted to help ordinary Americans transact daily goods now stands as a symbol of fortune and fascination. It's almost poetic how something so small and overlooked has turned into a legend, sparking a nationwide coin hunting craze, with people checking every penny jar, every couch cushion, every change drawer hoping to strike gold, or rather copper. Stories abound of lucky finds. A farmer in Kansas who discovered a rare 1946 penny mixed with his father's old coin box. A young collector in Ohio who found one at a garage sale for $1 and later learned it was worth millions. And even a retired war veteran who kept a jar of 1940s coins as keepsakes, unknowingly preserving a hidden masterpiece. Each of these tales underscores the incredible unpredictability and excitement that surround numismatics. But the 1946 penny's allure also extends beyond money. It's about history, connection, and mystery. Every tiny scratch, dent, and patina tells a story of where it's been and who's held it. Think of how many hands this coin may have passed through over nearly 80 years. The workers, the shopkeepers, the children collecting for fun, and how fate conspired to preserve just a handful of them as priceless relics. Today, collectors and historians continue to search for undiscovered varieties of the 1946 wheat penny, hoping to uncover another coin that could challenge or even surpass the record value. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC carefully examine these coins under high-power microscopes, assessing everything from luster and strike to the minutest die cracks, each detail potentially adding thousands or millions to the final valuation. The coin's cultural significance has also made it a pop culture icon, appearing in documentaries, collector shows, and even being referenced in discussions about the American dream in your pocket. That dream, the belief that something small can hold immense value, mirrors the journey of the 1946 penny itself. Its value doesn't just come from its rarity, but from what it represents. The enduring faith in the unexpected, the beauty in imperfection, and the thrill of rediscovery. And that's why coin enthusiasts keep the hunt alive. Even today, in 2025, collectors across YouTube, TikTok, and online communities continue sharing shocking finds of 1940s wheat pennies, sparking viral trends and inspiring millions to look closer at their change. Videos showing people flipping over a dusty penny to reveal a rare date and mint mark rack up millions of views, proving that the allure of finding hidden treasure never fades. If you ever come across a 1946 wheat penny, don't just toss it aside. Examine it carefully under good light. Check for any doubling on the inscriptions, unusual color variations, or off-centered strikes. You never know, the penny in your hand could be the next one to make headlines. Some even speculate that a few, yet undiscovered variations might still be circulating, waiting for someone curious enough to look twice. The thought that a $35 million fortune could be lying unnoticed in an old coin jar somewhere is what keeps the coin collecting world buzzing. This legendary penny continues to ignite excitement, passion, and hope among collectors worldwide. So before you spend that old coin, take a moment, look closely because history has a habit of hiding in plain sight. And who knows, the next great discovery might be yours. So if you're fascinated by rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind America's currency, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more unbelievable coin stories that could make you the next lucky collector holding a piece of history worth millions. Just like the 1946 Wheat Penny USA coin, with a face value of $35 million worth big money in history.